Hi everyone, good afternoon, and very warm welcome to this presentation, Role of Artificial Intelligence in Medical Education. Thank you very much, Organizing Committee International Workshop of Anatomy, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. I feel privileged and honored for that. I'm Dr. Shazia Iqbal. I'm a Director of Medical Education at VN Colleges, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to show you today that how much impact artificial intelligence has in medical education. This is not only a presentation, this is more like a reflection on my own experiences and very thought-provoking stories which really made you think that how much important it is to make a change in educational environment through artificial intelligence. In this presentation, I will share a few references which is about systematic review, how artificial intelligence was used during COVID-19 in healthcare system. It will impart a significance of artificial intelligence in educational environment. Then I shall focus that what is augmented reality, virtual reality, and what is its significance in anatomy teaching with particular focus on 3D, organon, and HoloLens. And at the end, I shall share some challenges which are related with implementation of artificial intelligence because they are equally important for sustainability of any change in educational environment. I shall begin with my presentation with a quote. Uh, Artificial intelligence is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on it, and this is famous saying by Sundar Pichani, and I totally agree with it that this is the great change which till now human body can imagine. How? Let me share your story. Around 10 years ago, I have a very dear friend, very close to me. She started her residency program in radiology. I was in touch, but after 1 year when I called, I said, "Oh, how are you working?" She said, "Well, Shazia, I'm good, but I have changed my mind to change my specialty from radiology to obstetrics and gynecology." I was wondering, why? She said, "Don't you know?" I said, "Just tell me the reason. You spent 1 year in radiology. Why you all in sudden change your mind to switch to obstetrics and gynecology?" And you know what did she answer? And her answer was really thought-provoking and shaking for me to think more and to explore more. And the answer was that, future in radiology is for artificial intelligence. And it is not the field for human being now because upcoming artificial intelligence technologies will replace all of radiologists and we will face a lot of problem in employability, job insecurity. So I am going to leave this specialty because I don't want to insecure my future. That was so much thought provoking for me that, oh my God, what it is, which is what the hell it is like if somebody is really changing its profession, it's too much apprehension that artificial intelligence is rather helping human being, but how somebody can think that it will be a big hurdle in future career. So that gave me a really serious thought to think that let's see that artificial intelligence is really a threat, a risk, or really benefiting human being, or it will superimpose human intelligence and will help human intelligence rather than creating such kind of apprehensions among health professionals. So that was the starting point when I started thinking. Before we go into this presentation, it is important for participants to understand that what is artificial intelligence definition, what is machine learning, what is virtual reality, what is augmented reality, what is mixed reality, so that you have an idea that what we are talking about in depth when we talk about in anatomy perspectives. So artificial intelligence is a machine learning and associated new technologies assist in big data management and eventually improve educational aspects in medicine. Use of machines that have some of the qualities which human minds carries, such as ability to understand language, recognize picture patterns, recognize for diagnosing diseases with scientific reasonings. And when we say virtual reality, what does it mean? VR is commonly used and it is computer application which allows user to experience immersive three-dimensional visual and audio simulations. So it creates a real environment in which somebody can imagine and can move and interact with the environment. Virtual reality is characterized by immersion in 3D world, interaction with virtual objects, and involvement in exploring the virtual environment. When we talk about augmented reality, in augmented reality, actually, we are looking into things which are real, but the magnification of those reality is too high that you can go in depth into the details of an object. So augmented reality is a technology which superimposes virtual generated image on the real world. The coexistence of virtual objects and real environments have encouraged experimentation and developments in educational environment which is not possible otherwise. This is the difference between AR and VR. AR is basically you are looking into the things which is real, but they are augmented. They are with high magnification in depth. And virtual reality is not something real. You are creating a environment which is not real, but is more just like real so that you have good orientation about that educational environment. And mixed reality is basically is merging of real and virtual world to produce new educational environment and visualization where physical and digital objects coexist and interact in real time. So this is mixture of virtual and augmented reality. And HoloLens is one of the very best and useful example of mixed reality. Mixed reality does not exclusively take place in either physical world or virtual world, but it is hybrid of real and virtual reality. This is a review article which highlights the impact of artificial intelligence in medical education and was published in Med and Publish, in which we followed Prisma approach and we identified those main articles which address the role of artificial intelligence in educational context. This is the detail of our research. When we, to identify relevant research, we used academic database including Cochrane Library, Medline, PubMed Central, Web of Science, Google Scholar. Besides these references, we had recognized that which studies highlighted the importance of artificial intelligence in undergrad medical education, especially in anatomy. So we use following keywords: artificial intelligence, machine intelligence in medicine and medical education. Out of these articles, we separated 288 articles abstracts for full read because we excluded 4067 articles because they were just mentioning different educational technologies in educational context but not focusing on artificial intelligence. Out of these 288 abstracts, we further narrowed down our research according to Prisma exclusion and inclusion criteria. 46 articles for full read manuscripts were selected, and 3 independent researchers went through these articles and critically analyzed those manuscripts for the role of artificial intelligence in health education context. Out of these 46 articles, 6 were editorial and 8 were conference comments. Following themes were discussed in 30 articles finally, and we found 8 articles which were sole focused on the role of curriculum reforms in educational context, especially curriculum reforms in undergrad medical education and postgrad medical education, because there is a very high impact of artificial intelligence in integration of knowledge, especially when we talk about integration of anatomy and physiology. Then a lot of discussion was there about the need of curriculum reforms. 7 articles, they presented different deep learning models, machine learning models in educational context. 5 articles, they highlighted the importance of virtual reality, especially in anatomy teaching, and how we can boost anatomy teaching, or how can we make enjoyable learning environment for educators, for future physicians, by enhancing learning environment through virtual reality. 6 articles, they were mentioning the challenges which are related to implementation of AI. Apprehensions were discussed in 5 articles. At the same time, when we are doing this review, the COVID-19 pandemic happened, and it gave us a thought that why not we should study that in a short review, that how much artificial intelligence is being used in healthcare system in detecting COVID-19 pandemic, in detecting infected cases, because it was a lot of highlights coming in media that artificial intelligence is really helping us to detect and trace disease itself. This was a second systematic review published in IGI Global Intelligent Information Technologies, a systemic review about role of artificial intelligence in COVID-19 pandemic in healthcare profession. This is the summary of our systematic review. We identified 124 articles in this short review conducted between January 2020 to April 2020 by using keywords artificial intelligence COVID-19 pandemic. We used database PubMed Central, Singapore National University to identify these articles, and by looking into title, we identified 76 articles which addressed the exact role of artificial intelligence in different healthcare systems, domains. Out of these 76 abstracts, we identified 19 articles for full manuscript review according to PRISMA approach by applying inclusion and exclusion criteria, and 3 independent reviewers reviewed these manuscripts for final results. We identified in these 13 studies, and these are the key main points in these articles, that artificial intelligence has remarkable role in control of COVID-19 pandemic by tracing the diseased and infected patients. There is significant role in predicting the spread of the disease by chasing infected population, so it is very much helpful in epidemiology. It is a powerful tool for public health professionals. AI-assisted diagnostic features in radiology are very important to identify high-risk patients in COVID-19 infections. AI-assisted applications help in tracking and quick decision making. So there is need for future research which should emphasize and determine the effectiveness and address the challenges related to artificial intelligence and robotics during pandemic. Now I shall talk about the role of HoloLens in anatomy teaching to enhance educational environment. So this is one of commonly used uh, headset which is called HoloLens and is used during educational session.
Medicine is in the midst of digital change. Mixed reality and artificial intelligence are already improving patient care today. Virtual Surgery Intelligence, or VSI, is doing just that. With this software solution, MRI, CT, and other medical scans are displayed in 3D in Microsoft HoloLens 2 mixed reality glasses. This gives the patient a deeper understanding of the results, surgical procedures, and treatment methods. Before surgery, the doctor uploads the CT and MRI data onto HoloLens 2. The VSI recognizes the patient through anatomical landmarks and positions the stored image on the surgical site with millimeter precision. Within a few seconds, the VSI generates a rendered 3D image. It's used to give the doctor a precise anatomical orientation before surgery. Tissue structures, fractures, and pathologies appear in 3D for the first time. During the after-surgery round, the patient's data is quickly retrieved and displayed using VSI and HoloLens 2. At a glance and without a computer, the doctor can concentrate fully on the patient, answer questions, and discuss follow-up medical care. Being able to easily dictate a report, take photos, and retrieve archived images saves valuable time, facilitates everyday life in the hospital, and provides quality assurance. That will also make other processes in the hospital more efficient. VSI and Microsoft HoloLens 2 define a new medical standard.
So you have seen in this video that how artificial intelligence assisted HoloLens is being used in integrating knowledge and is helpful in surgery, in radiology, in quick decision making. When we talk about specifically on anatomy teaching, globally the concept of holographic anatomy teaching has transformed the way health professionals learn medicine and understand the basic human anatomy concept. Medical students explore a vast array of resources to gain anatomy knowledge. For example, we are giving them a lot of books, textbooks, cadavers, anatomy websites, lecture slides, notes, tutorial discussions. But now research has proved that if we include educational technologies, yes, it can enhance educational environment and enhance their orientation about the concept of the organs and better integration between anatomy and physiology and clinical integration, clinical application or clinical applied anatomy can be enhanced through these educational technologies, especially HoloLens used in anatomy. There is no doubt through educational references and articles that HoloLens is an opportunity to assess new computer technologies to increase educational environment. Being medical educators, we are always making our effort to make our learning and teaching more student oriented, more interactive, more efficient, and all those learning techniques which reduce student anxiety and make learning more enjoyable rather than a stressful experience. So HoloLens could develop the psychological aspects of studying and improve even assessments because studies they have shown that students who have used HoloLens during preparation of their topic or subject, they have better performance during their final assessments and they are more confident in their performance. And a few research they have also proved when we compare anatomy teaching through simple PowerPoint presentation or 2D images, it has been compared as that to HoloLens, and it was found that when we teach through 3D images and HoloLens, performance of the student is better as comparative to traditional way of teaching through PowerPoint. Mixed reality is a state of hybrid reality in which real and virtual realities are merged. This technology not only help in integration of knowledge but improve collaborative learning among students as well, and there is a breadth of understanding, the depth of understanding and knowledge which can be enhanced through HoloLens. I would like to share my recent experience of attending AMI 2021 conference. This was an event which is every year organized by the International Society of Medical Educators, and more than 20,000 participants who participated in this conference, including medical educators, lecturers, anatomy teachers, and there was a survey which was conducted regarding the use of virtual reality and augmented reality in anatomy teaching. So I would like to share the results of that polling, and you will be surprised that what are the views of medical educators, especially in European countries, to which extent they are using and which kind of questions are in their mind. And so this was the first poll, and question was asked that uh, what type of digital solutions do you use at your institution? Different options were given, and you can see that 3D anatomy on computer table and smartphone is being used more than 50%. So 57% of participants they answered that yes, they are applying. So there is a quite a transformation in educational teaching of anatomy, especially with the use of these digital tools. However, 29% said that yes, they are using web-based anatomy and physiological CAD form. So it is somewhere there. However, still virtual reality, augmented reality are at low focus as comparative to 3D models, because we need to enhance awareness that how to use virtual reality and augmented reality in anatomy teaching. So these results were really surprising for us and thought-provoking for medical educators, that how we can inculcate virtual reality and augmented reality as a digital tool in educational process. Another question was, do you use any digital software solution to demonstrate microscopic anatomy models? 82% answered not, which is really again a thought provoking that microscopic anatomy orientation or through 3D models and through HoloLens is wonderful idea to give concept to students, that how they can go in depth of DNA structure, how they can go in depth of cellular changes at mitochondrial levels. So uh, we need to create enhancement regarding microscopic anatomy teaching models. That is very interesting. When question was asked that, do you believe that immersive technologies such as virtual and augmented reality are of great benefit for practical sessions during teaching? All of them, they agreed yes. Very much relevant to anatomy teachers. It was asked that what is the main benefit of virtual and augmented technologies in teaching anatomical sciences? So you can see that 100% they agreed that yes, students can better understand the relationship between structure and function. So integration of the knowledge is best through using virtual reality or creating virtual environment. So this is a quite significant, like medical educators are at same platform, they have the same understanding that yes, future we can enhance our educational environment. And at the same time, you can see that roughly 67% participants agreed that students enjoy learning by making it more gamified environment, by creating more enjoyable environment, more collaborative and interactive environment through use of virtual reality. And yes, majority they agreed that it is a best alternate where cadaver based teaching is not possible, or which is not that much reliable when we compare it with virtual reality and augmented reality, because the orientation or creation of environment create better understanding for students. When participants were asked that what is the main reason you don't use virtual reality solution at your teaching during your teaching session, And you know, the answer was that cost, because they think that it is a bit expensive to install, it is a bit expensive to train faculty, so they did not have used that at their institution till now. And this is something which stakeholders need to think, that how they can provide all of these facilities, because it's a matter of investment for the first time. But once you invest it to build your institutional educational environment, then it is very helpful for students as well as faculty can easily adapt. And one question was asked related to ultrasound simulators as virtual reality to teach better anatomy. Mostly they agreed that once, yes, during anatomy structures can be better visualized when they practice on virtual reality assisted ultrasound simulators, which is very interesting finding. So today learning ecosystem changed due to scientific and technological evolution. The close down of universities due to COVID-19 pandemic had tremendous impact on the delivery of tertiary educational curricula. Anatomy is a traditional and fundamental sciences in medicine and can be a very challenging subject to grasp. However, if we make a curriculum reform in the form of inculcation of virtual reality and augmented reality into anatomy teaching, yes, we can reduce teaching time as well. So institutions are adopting to new technological resources, especially in anatomy teaching. Now there is more focus on 3D visualization methods rather than cadaveric dissection. So these are main benefits through 3D organonon, which is most commonly used a form of HoloLens. We can enhance self-directed learning, we can enhance collaborative learning, and we can better improve interaction. So you can see that educational environment has changed, interaction has changed, role of tutor has changed. So a lot of interactivity can be created without facilitator input, and we can leave more education on students' shoulder through guidance, through structured guidance. The introduction of artificial intelligence in the form of virtual reality has changed the anatomical institutional structure itself, anatomy lab structure itself. So previously we used to see a lot of cadavers in anatomy lab. Now we see a lot of 3D HoloLens head devices in our anatomy lab. So all of it is not only changing the shape of local structure, but institutional structures and stakeholder thinking and mind has been changed while they are making future planning, because all of this is the future of educational environment. So you can see that this is the shape of educational anatomy lab these days, and you can compare it, the local one, traditional way of teaching, and now trends have totally changed. So it is reshaping anatomy dissection hall orientation itself.
The HoloLens is absolutely the most amazing piece of technology. Within 5 seconds, I realized that the world had changed. It was an immediate realization that this is something exciting and we have to be a part of this. Seeing things in 3D is something that you could do before with some glasses. The thing that the HoloLens gives you is the ability to walk around those 3D objects and to really experience them as if they're in the room with you.
It is augmented reality, it is mixed reality. And what that means is I still see you, I still see this room and everything around me, but the digital content is inserted into the room as if it's actually there.
As a teacher, I can see what they're all looking at. And that's something that we think has real power.
It's actually opening up our interactions with each other.
The biggest drive is getting the anatomy curriculum completely done by the time we move into the new health education campus.
Today, We and the Cleveland Clinic are constructing a state-of-the-future health education campus. Our students will learn using the most forward-looking educational programs. Hololens is a key part of this.
The actual act of dissection hasn't changed in generations. We have to be much, much more effective and efficient.
The biggest thing about medical school is there's just so much information and so much knowledge you're being asked to learn.
HoloLens is going to enable us to teach in an integrated way and to look at the body in ways they haven't been able to see it. It's sort of having X-ray vision, seeing through the skin.
My mind was just kind of blown. When I tried it on, it was perfect. It's really hard to understand what the anatomy and book's trying to tell you. So with the HoloLens, we can literally show you what's happening with the body.
We can look at how the heart moves, or look at how the brain processes information and how information flows around in our brain.
They can see when the heart valves are closing and hear the sounds.
How the diaphragm moves, when the lungs move. A click of the fingers is going to allow students to see how everything's interconnected in the body.
We have means to draw people's attention to things to get them where they need to look. Do you want to look and then pull the bones out?
And what they really crave is learning anatomy in the context of what they need to know clinically. What are they going to need to know for their clerkships and their future careers?
With HoloLens, we can have essentially any disease that you want to see.
So when I see an image like this in the hospital, I know exactly what's going on. This is how to treat and diagnose them.
The HoloLens provides like a new way of teaching anatomy. It can really speed up the process of learning this material.
I think HoloLens is the next big transformative change in medical education.
This video gives you a better idea that how integration of anatomy and physiology is helping medical students during their anatomy sessions. So educational environment making more enjoyable for students for learning anatomy subjects, and especially for future surgeons when they are taking deep interest in surgery, looking into a human body while they are operating and having the same feeling of a surgeon when they can have through these advanced sensors. So all this is reshaping the educational healthcare system. Microscopic models which are being used in anatomy teaching. It's not only about teaching, it's about the assessment as well, because in this HoloLens softwares, we have the options that we can put MCQs, we can put options, single best choices, we can assess as well at the same time. When students are using HoloLens, we have this option to put clinical scenario, and we can change those clinical scenario. So it is these tools are helping for assessment at the same time as well. Clinical reasoning can be improved at the same time, because clinical application is asked at the same time for surface anatomy, pathologies can be asked at the same time. So the integration is better once student is giving this environment in which we can correlate anatomy, physiology, pathology, pharmacology at the same time in a clinical scenario. This is a great requirement that we need to gauge the mixed reality based head mounted devices implementation in medical education, because when we talk something good, we have to look at what are the some drawbacks of technology. When we went into these analysis or systematic reviews, we found that regarding HoloLens, there were few side effects of head mounted devices, because dizziness has been reported, stress on eyes has been reported, because these are all side effects of technology, just like side effects of using the different mobile devices or tabs or laptops, computer related devices. So apprehension is there. However, it has been seen in studies that they don't have much impact on final outcome. In final outcome of the results, students, they enjoyed learning more, and they engaged in learning process more with use of these handheld mounted devices, but there is a lot of future research which we need to think into depth and how we can deal all of these side effects and apprehensions. Apart from that, the biggest challenge is that how we can install these devices in low resource countries, because it's a matter of cost effectiveness that is discussed, and that is a big challenge. So we have to do a lot of research in low resources countries, that which kind of apprehension they have in their mind, and how much investment is the investment, and the output is what is the main outcome when we talk about installing these devices at low resource countries like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. So we need to keep all of these questions in our mind when we talk about HoloLens installment at our institutions. When we talk about challenges related to HoloLens in medical education, it is a great challenge to create an educational curriculum. Curriculum reforms, that is a big challenge. Faculty development, how to make changes in course specification of anatomy, how to introduce it in practical sessions. So, apart from that, creating virtual anatomy manuals for anatomists, that is a big challenge. Apart from that, how we can enhance emotional regulation and communication skills or cognitive skills through these HoloLens. To summarize the challenges for implementation of artificial intelligence in medical education, one of the biggest challenges is to convince stakeholders, to convince administration, to convince academic deans, vice deans, that how it will help your organization, because it is a matter of huge investment in terms of time, in terms of purchase, cost, they are expensive devices, maintenance. So all of these things need to be kept in mind, that can institution afford it, and however, once they will be applied, definitely it will benefit students according in view of the background of these research studies. So another is building a trust among faculty members, trust among tutors. If one tutor believe on traditional teaching on cadaver, then it will be a biggest challenge to convince other tutor, and they need to be on the same platform when they agree for the best way to teach anatomy. So creating a trustworthy culture environment is a big challenge. Then computing, definitely it's a matter of upgrading softwares in virtual reality, in artificial intelligence. A lot of software updates, they need to be compatible with the hardware devices. So updating all of our hardware and software is a big challenge. Data privacy security. When we talk about telemedicine, the biggest issue is data privacy and security. Same way when we talk about technology in educational teaching environment, data privacy and security. Assessments, privacy. Lot of algorithms are related to artificial intelligence and machine learning are there. We need to agree on a standard for anatomy teaching. So a lot of bias is there. That is also a big challenge to deal with. And data scarcity. We need to collect a lot of data, which thing is useful or benefit for us, and which thing is not benefit for us, and it will come with the research. So this platform is a great platform to give you a good school of thought that there is a lot of future for research to work on use of VR, AR in anatomy teaching. Start pilot studies at your institutions. So no doubt there are benefits of artificial intelligence. We have to deal these challenges, thinking to make a change in educational culture at your institutional levels. We need to develop a thinking of AI system that is it is a bit challenge, but it can be tackled. Because it is benefiting human intelligence, and is supporting you in future to create an environment which is more healthy rather than a stressful environment. When we talk about how to deal these challenges to adopt technology enhanced learning at medical schools, I would like to refer to one of our study, which was a mega project done at lower source country, Pakistan, that what are the influencing factors to adopt technology enhanced learning in medical education. This article is part of book online course management at IGI Global. So it was wonderful opportunity for us to explore that what are the challenges for medical educators to inculcate technology enhanced learning in medical education. And you know, it was so surprising for us that even in low source countries, the answer was not the electricity or the resources. All institutions, key stakeholders, they answer that they have resources, they have manpower, they have they can manage it at their institution, but the main thing is adaptability to this change by faculty. The main resistance was faculty training, which we identified the main factor. And on the basis of this research, we concluded that who will make this transformation in educational environment, and we concluded an acronym that people transform ideas. And here what are how people can transform ideas is this acronym. So we need changes at national level. National level, like we need to educate our policymaker and make them think that how much technologies are helping in educational environment building. So they have to think that how they can make national-wise policies at their higher education levels, higher education committees, to enforce this idea of implementation of artificial intelligence in educational environment. We have to make change at institutional level. We have to make reforms in educational pedagogy. We have to make reforms in educational curriculum through training and workshop. At individual level, it is very important. At departmental level, we have to give power to those people who are expert in this, who are enthusiastic in it, that they can introduce artificial intelligence in different way in their anatomy teaching. We have to empower our faculty at individual level. So we have to work at three levels to deal all of these challenges related to introduction of artificial intelligence or technology, being low source countries. I hope that this idea, if you apply it at your institution level, it will help you. We applied the introduction of this virtual reality at our own institution at VN College. We started working on introduction of virtual reality in structured form in our anatomy teaching. We build our simulation lab on basis of these virtual reality tools, and we are very much working hard to bring high fidelity simulators which are based on 3D, especially in surgical procedures training. So this is one of the short in which you can see that this is being used in our BN college now. So this is my take home message, that by end of this presentation, I think our participants, they will be convinced that artificial intelligence has extraordinary role in medical education. There is an intense demand for curriculum reform based on these technologies, especially in anatomy teaching. And the diverse challenges related to implementation of AI in medical education need to be understood by stakeholders of medical education, and faculty development is required, which is very, very important to train faculty to address their apprehensions, to deal these challenges so that they feel comfortable in this new environment. I would like I would like to say thank you very much with these verses, that artificial intelligence can superimpose human intelligence to discover undiscovered human beings. Artificial intelligence is a tool, it is not a threat. So keep in mind that it is helping, not create any kind of threat in your mind, or don't think that this is something risky. There is a famous saying by Stephen Hawking that success in creating artificial intelligence would be the biggest event in human history, and we have to believe it. And intelligence is the ability to adapt the change. So the sooner we adapt to this change, sooner we will be more successful at our institutional level as or nationwide. Thank you so much for your attending this presentation, and thank you. These are few references, and I'm more than happy to take your questions now. Thank you so much.